Hi guys, welcome. Danny here from the Magic Junk Drawer. So over this weekend, I had like 5 or 6 different people kind of contact me with a very similar situation and a very similar question. So I figured I would just go live and do a video and see if I can address or explain better in video what I wanted to say. So, have you ever been in this situation where mothers tend to do this? If you don't live with your mother, for me, it was my grandmother. My grandmother would do this. How come you never call me? How come you never come by? When are you going to have time to come over? Do you want to go for dinner? Very needy, very constant, right? Constantly needy. Now, my grandmother, at this point, I mean, she has since passed, but she was retired. And she lived alone, and she didn't want to work, or she didn't have many hobbies. She had a couple of things that she did, but basically she really didn't have much to do. So she spent a lot of time, trying to, I'm not going to say control me, although there was a level of control to it. Now, just because I didn't have a lot of time for her didn't mean I didn't love her or that I didn't want to see her. It was just that I had a lot going on in my life, and I was working 2 jobs, and it wasn't easy for me to fit everything in that I wanted to do. So it's that kind of neediness that tends to push people away. So for example, if you're dating somebody, or you're looking to get back together with somebody, or even somebody new, you want to be with this person, if you have a constant need to speak to this person, or a constant need to feel like you're in contact with them, like somebody said to me yesterday, I just want him to text me, call me, and FaceTime me every day. I mean, that's a lot to ask for. Now, can you imagine if somebody said that to you? I just want you to text me, call me, and FaceTime me every day. I want you to tell me every day that you miss me. I want you to tell me every day that I am the most important person in your life. I want you to tell me every day that you love the sound of my voice and you can't wait to speak to me. Imagine if somebody said that to you. This is what you're saying to this person. This is going out into the universe, and other people are picking up on the fact that you need something from them to feel satisfied, to feel reassured, to feel like you're important. And they are running away from it because it is very needy. And nobody wants to be responsible for somebody else's happiness. You make me happy. I need you. Like, there are people, and I've had friends of mine, they always have to have a boyfriend. Always. They don't care who it is. I mean, they will pick up anybody. It doesn't matter who they are, but they need to have a boyfriend because they have to feel like they're validated as a human being if they're in a relationship. Now, as long as you hold on to that belief, this is exactly what you're going to put out there. And you're never going to feel like you have any value in yourself unless you're in a relationship with somebody, anybody, it doesn't matter who. So this neediness, right, is going to also call in other people who are needy, and it's going to always be reflected back to you. What you put out is being reflected back to you. So if you believe that you have no worth and that somebody doesn't love you because they haven't answered your text message in an hour, this is going to cultivate that. It's going to set up roadblocks in your relationships. And it's not only relationships with significant others, it's all relationships. Think about it when your mother does it to you. Think about it when your grandmother does it to you. Think about it when anybody does it to you. You don't have time for me. You're always too busy for me. When are you going to take me out to lunch? When are you going to take me out to the movies? We never spend any time together. This is a roadblock. It puts up a big red flag. Now, it's psychologically or it's emotionally, it's out in the universe. It's not like the person is always understanding what's happening. It's like this. I had said to one of my friends, I don't know what we were talking about. Well, somehow it came up, and I said, a lot of times guys will see a girl and they'll think that she's hot, but they don't know exactly what it is that makes her hot. And vice versa. Like they may see somebody and be attracted to this person, but they don't know what it is that attracts them. Maybe it may even be whole true for you. You may be attracted to somebody and feel like, I don't know what it is about this person, but something attracts me to them. I worked with a woman who told me that she was always attracted to guys with dark hair, like darker complected guys. When she finally got married, she married a blonde, and she had no idea why, but that's just how it happened. The idea is that it's not about physical appearance. It's not about a specific thing. Oh, he wears green, she wears green lipstick. She's, 5 feet tall. Like, it's not about a specific thing. It's about an energy and something that you're putting out. And it's not about being phony and over the top confident when you don't really have confidence, but it's knowing in your own being who you are, what you want out of life, and what is important to you. So for example, if you're somebody that needs to have a text message at 6 a.m. every morning from your significant other, and you don't get one on Tuesday morning, and your mind automatically goes to, well, he doesn't like me anymore, that is showing you that you have a need for this text message. So that text message equals love to you. And your logical mind is trying to make X equal 5. Well, when you're dealing with emotions and you're dealing with the universe, there is no logic. So you can't say X equals 5 and have it always equal 5. It just doesn't work. So if you're taking how many text messages somebody sends you and making that equal to love, it's not true. I know many, many, many men who are just as unconfident and needy as women, and their game is to stay in contact and tell the girl what she wants to hear because it's doing something for them. There is no love, there is no anything in this. It's a game. It's a game, it's an ego game. It's like somebody that lies, right? I know a lot of people that lie. And like people that lie to me over like things that, like, why are you lying to me? Because I'm the last person that would care about any of this. Like, it makes no difference in my life, so why are you lying to me? But people lie and they tell stories and they fabricate things because it's a need that they have to make you think that they're a rich man. I have so much money. Who gives a shit? I don't care. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what you look like. If you're an asshole and you're a liar, well, then that just ruins it for me. Okay? Like, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by the size of your bank account. This is not my thing. So the point here that I'm trying to get at, or I want to be clear about, is that if you're putting out a need to get something from someone, I need this text message. If I text message you and an hour goes by and you have not responded to me, it makes me feel like I'm not important. Then this is going to set up roadblocks in your relationship. Because I'll talk about myself. I haven't committed to it yet, jog back to the yoga studio tonight to teach my last class. I might. If I do, it's going to take me about an hour and 15 minutes to get there. While I'm there, I'm going to teach a class that's an hour long. And then I'm going to jog back. It's going to take me another hour and 15 minutes to get home. So it's very possible in that time span of 3 hours, if somebody text messages me, I won't get back to them, or if I do get back to them, I'll be very quick with them because I'm going to be very busy in those hours. Doesn't mean I don't like them. It doesn't mean they're not important to me. It just means that I'm doing something else. Now, it depends what your situation is. If you're the kind of person that has a desk job, and I had one for years, where you have access to your phone and you can respond immediately, that's one thing. But there have also been occasions where I would be in a meeting and not be able to use my phone. And the person on the other end doesn't know that I'm in a meeting. They could be thinking, she always answers me right away. It's been an hour and a half. Why haven't I heard back from her? It's that kind of a need that sets up, and people don't realize, Like, it's not something that you consciously understand. It goes out into the universe and it's a subconscious thing. It's something that repels you from someone. Like in the instance of my grandmother, who was very extreme, this woman on Saturday morning would start calling me from 7:30, and she would call until the phone said the party you're trying to reach cannot be reached, or whatever the situation was. Hang up, and she would call back again. If I didn't answer, she would show up. Now you can understand how this would be pushing somebody away, right? Now you're doing this in your personal relationships. If she had the attitude that my other grandmother had, which was come when you can come, stay for as long as you can stay, go when you gotta go, and I'll talk to you when you're free, it would be different. I had a different relationship with the two grandmothers. When one called, it was like, oh God, she's coming over now. And the other one, it was like I was always happy to see, because she wasn't forcing herself on me. Now, the idea of the law of attraction, right, and calling somebody into your life that you want to bring back or that you want to be with or whatever the situation may be, it's not hard. We make it hard because we think it's impossible, because we've taken this person and we've put them up on a pedestal, right? And I've used this example before. I live in New York, right? I'm not, you know, I'm not a rock star. I'm just an average, everyday person. If I don't get starstruck, but everybody knows I love James Bay. I just love him. Now, imagine, right? And I've gone to see him in concert, and this is exactly what it's like. I was in concert down here, and he was up on stage here, and I was looking up at him. And it was like he was up on this pedestal, right? That's exactly what it's like. He's a rock star, and here I am down here. This is the idea, it's the vibe that you're putting out into the universe with the person that you want to be with, no matter who it is. It doesn't matter, but think of it. You don't want to put them on the rock star pedestal. Now, what happens is, and we hear this all the time, oh, well, doesn't it figure? I met someone else and now he shows up. Of course he shows up now, because you just took him down off the pedestal. And you don't need his text message. You don't need his love. You don't need him to tell you that you're the most beautiful thing that he's ever seen. So you have just brought him down. Now you and him are on the same place, and he wants you back, and you haven't thought about him. You let it go, and he showed up. This happens all the time. So what you want to do is you want to have that kind of, I don't want to say control, that's not the right word. You want to have that kind of ability while you still want to be with this person, or while you still want to hear from this person, but without giving them the importance of, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to die. Like, oh my God, he didn't respond to my text. I hear that all the time. Well, I sent a text and I didn't get a response. And immediately people go to like the degree of like, oh my God, he hates me. Everybody else in this world is better than me, so on and so forth. And then what happens is, then now we start with the cyber stalking, and we're going to find something, and we have to know, and I'm desperate, and I need to know what's going on, and who is this, and who is that, and what's happening here, and oh, he checked in over here. And calm down, because I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience, nothing equals anything. Years ago, I had a friend of mine, I don't know what she was doing, but she asked me for my Facebook password, and she was someone that I trusted, and I gave it to her. Regardless of that story, the point is that during the time when she was using my password, you would have seen me on Facebook, but I wasn't on Facebook. Somebody else was under my name. My point is, you don't know anything. Nothing equals anything. So driving yourself crazy and putting all of this desperation and need out into the universe is just going to get reflected back to you. Picking up the phone and looking at the phone. Did she call? Did she call? Did she call? It's just going to put up a bigger block. The best thing that you can do is put the phone down and go get busy doing something else. And people say it all the time, get a hobby, do something that requires a lot of concentration, because you won't be able to concentrate on a new hobby and think about this person at the same time. You just won't be able to. Your mind will be focused on something that requires all of your attention. So that would be my suggestion. So you focus on what you want. I want Joe Schmo to come back into my life. I intend for them to come back into my life. Forget about it. Go get busy doing something else and stay as preoccupied as you can. Put the phone down, and then you should see something else get reflected. You should start to see this person show up again. You know, like my example, what happens if you're dealing with a person that uses their hands, like they work with their hands? Like I was talking to one of my friends just before, and there was a man who was mowing the lawn. And I said to her, I go, this guy over here is mowing the lawn. If he got a text message right now, he wouldn't be able to answer. He wouldn't hear the phone. He's doing what he's doing. He wants to mow that lawn, and he wants to get on with his day. He doesn't want to stop and answer text messages. Now, if this takes him an hour, it takes him an hour. If it takes him 3 hours, it takes him 3 hours. Not everybody's got their phone in their hand 24/7. So you have to kind of pull yourself back from this situation so that you're not putting up these barriers and making X equal 5. It doesn't work. I have known so many people that are lying and cheating and scamming, and their significant other has no idea because the guy knows how to show up with flowers. Big deal. So what? So what? Flowers don't equal love. Manipulating somebody doesn't equal love. Forcing somebody to do what you want them to do does not equal love. Okay, so think about it that way. You can force somebody, you can manipulate them, you can coerce them, you can call them names, you can threaten their life, you can tell them that they're going to go to their job and you're going to get them fired. You can do anything. And the person may react out of fear to your demands, but you will never make them love you by doing those things. You're only going to push them further away. And I'm telling you because I have a lot of clients and people that have sent me emails. I even had a friend. Let me give him some lunch before I tell this story. Hang on. Go, Bubba. I had a friend. She was more of an acquaintance. A friend of mine was friends with this girl she was young and she was recently married, but for some reason her husband did not trust her. He didn't trust her at all. And she never gave him any reason to not trust her. He just didn't trust her. I don't know. He was a jealous type. I don't know what happened. I didn't know her that well, but I know they wound up getting divorced because he was doing crazy things. Like he had a GPS on her. Like she would go like, I don't know, like she would go to like the grocery store, and then like at night he would say, oh, so-and-so said that they saw you at, the A&P. And she would be like, oh, really? Oh, I didn't see them. It took a long time before she realized that he was tracking her. You can track somebody. You can lie to somebody, you can manipulate someone, you can beat them at their own game, but you are never going to capture somebody's heart by doing this. It's just not going to work. So you have to find a way to let all of this go. And of course they wound up getting divorced because nobody comes back from that. Nobody comes back from, oh, he was so jealous and he was tracking my every move, to now we have a great relationship. She was like, I'm out of here. I'm not spending the rest of my life with this kind of madness. It's crazy. But this is what happens. You have to be, you have to think about it logical. Like, imagine if somebody said that to you. I need you to text me, call me, and FaceTime me every day. Imagine, how would you feel? How would you feel? It will become another job. It becomes a second job. Now you have another job. You have to go to work, and then you have to call and text and FaceTime this person every day. I just want to hear every day that he thinks that I am a goddess. Now, every day you got to get up and you got to tell her that. That becomes a job to you. And this is what people aren't understanding. And people are saying to me, well, if he's not answering my text messages, does it mean that he's lost interest in me? No. What's going to make him lose interest in you is that you're putting it out into the universe that he's already lost interest in you. And that X equals, one text message is good, 10 text messages means he's really in love with me. It's absolutely insane that you're equating one with the other. It just doesn't make sense. They don't equal. I mean, what happens if you're involved with somebody that drives a tractor trailer and he's on the road? Can he text you back? No, he can't text you back. It means he doesn't love you. Now, if you were married to this person, would you have that need? Or would you know he was coming home at night? So is marriage a false sense of security? Because I know plenty of married people that are fucking around, in plain English, okay? So is it a false sense of security, or does it not matter to you because you have this idea of what it should be, and as long as he fulfills what should be, it doesn't matter what he really does? And I'm using this in a female version because I have to be honest, most of the people that send me these questions are women. I think maybe I had one or two men that had questions like this in my lifespan. It's always women. Women want this kind of reassurance that this person is always going to be interested, and the fastest way to drive somebody away is to expect from them, well, he's got to call me at 6 o'clock in the morning. I need to know what he had for breakfast. He needs to FaceTime me at lunch. I mean, married people that are in real relationships do not behave like this. They just don't behave like this. It's the fastest way to push somebody away because nobody wants to be responsible for your happiness. Nobody. I mean, think about it. Think about friends that you have that are constantly Debbie Downers. They're always like, why me? I'm a victim. I'm this. No one likes me. I mean, you can't be somebody else's therapist 24/7 and build them up. In order to have a healthy relationship with somebody, you have to meet halfway, and there has to be some kind of a mutual trust. And you can't have, years ago we didn't have text messaging. Years ago we didn't have telephones up our asses 24/7. Years ago I remember that I would have to beep. I'll beep you, and then this person would have to drive to a freaking payphone and then call me back, and the beeps didn't always go through. So I beeped you, you didn't get it? Oh, well, maybe they didn't get it, or maybe he's lying, or maybe he got the beep and he was with somebody else, and maybe this and maybe that, and maybe the next thing, maybe the beeper's in the toilet. I mean, enough already. Put it out into the universe and let it go. But holding on to this all the time is just, it just perpetuates the cycle. It's like a constant need to be reassured. It's like, do you think he likes me? 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 So you really like me? You really like me? You really like me? It winds up, yes, yes, yes. And then the person, now, not me, because you're not doing it to me, but this is what's going out into the universe. So the person is getting this, and they don't realize it. It's not a conscious thing. But subconsciously, it's weighing on their mind. And then it winds up, they wind up getting turned off by it, and you may not know why. They may not know why, but they may just come up with something like, well, it's not working out. Why isn't it working out? It's not working out because there's a desperate vibe. And desperation, nothing good comes from desperation. You always want to keep focused on like attracts like, right? Like attracts like. Confidence in yourself, confidence in the relationship will bring the person closer. Doubting the relationship, doubt, self-sabotaging, all that kind of stuff is going to push the relationship further away. And this holds true with any situation. Any situation, if you say to yourself, I'm waiting for him, that's what's going to keep you waiting. Waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. It's like pushing a boulder up a hill. You can't wait. You have to keep yourself in motion because we're all energy. thoughts are energy, people are energy, things have energy, right? These cards here, they're molecules that form the cards that I can hold them in my hand, right? Like, it's energy. That's all everything is. And if your energy is saying I'm needy and I'm desperate and you need to reassure me constantly that I am the most important thing in your life, and if I'm not, I'm going to freak out and I'm going to act out of desperation, this is going to push somebody away. And think about it. Think about it like this. If you texted your brother or you texted your best friend or you were waiting to hear back from your mother, you wouldn't have that desperation, right? It wouldn't feel like your mother lost interest in you because she hasn't responded, right? You wouldn't think like that. So why are you thinking that way when it comes to somebody that you're involved with? Why do you think that somebody could lose interest in you? Does your mom lose interest in you? Does your brother lose interest in you? Now, my brother can be really bad about text messaging me back, and I know that he's got that cell phone in his hand like 23 hours a day. So sometimes I get mad at him just because I'm waiting for a response. But I know it's not like, it's not like, oh, well, maybe he doesn't want to ever talk to me again. Like, I don't have those thoughts. But the thoughts that you put out into the universe that surround this person are going to get reflected back to you. It's going to happen because this is what happens. This is the explanation to why you see a supermodel with Jabba the Hutt. And it's the explanation as to why you're like, God, what is a gorgeous guy like him doing with, Attila the Hun? And this is the answer. It's because they think who they are. They think that they're worthy and deserving of this person, and that's what works. It works. And it's not, you can't manufacture it as cockiness. Like, it has to be genuine. Like I was saying before, people tend to come back once you've moved on, but it's when you've moved on genuinely. It's not like if you made it up or you used somebody to make somebody else jealous. Like, any of these games that people play, that doesn't work. You have to genuinely move on and wind up with somebody else that you actually have feelings for, and then that's when you hear from the ex. It always happens. It happens all the time. Because the desire has dissipated, and they're not picking up on that desperation. Oh, I got to get back to her. If I don't get back to her, like I said, I worked in a grocery store for years. I would have guys come running in like panicked on Valentine's Day because oh my God, it's Valentine's Day. I had no idea. You're assigning importance to something that doesn't have to be important. It's not important. Valentine's Day is not important if you've been banging the woman down the street for the last 10 years. But if you know that you can go home with flowers and it's going to keep her mouth shut and that's all she wants, and then she can post this bullshit on Facebook, I mean, what are we doing here, okay? But more often than not, these are the stories that I hear, right? These are the stories that I hear. And I'm like, you've been sleeping with this guy for 10 years, okay? You're upset because, you stalked out so-and-so and she's this X, Y, and Z. I mean, look, you have to put things in perspective. If he's so in love with her, what is he doing with you? Okay? And if, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to put things in perspective. You're going to let some stupid shit upset you, like you didn't get enough text messages, or if he doesn't text message you back fast enough, then it equals unhappiness, or it equals I'm not important enough. Well, what's the time frame? So if somebody answers you back in an hour, is that okay? If somebody answers you back in 2 hours, what happens if it's a week? I mean, because I have friends, like I had a friend, his birthday was in April, and it happens to be that in April for work, he's got to go out of town, and it's always at his birthday. And if I text message him, he responded back this year, but last year he didn't. But I didn't take offense to it because I know that he's busy. I know where he is at that time because it's every year he's there. But I have plenty of friends that I could text message them, hey, happy birthday, and not hear back from them. And a lot of people, I hate to say it, they're not good with birthdays. They don't necessarily remember mine, and I don't take offense to it. I don't care. I don't care because if I'm assigning, you only care about me if you remember my birthday because I remember yours. I mean, that is one thing has nothing to do with the next. It doesn't, like you could have a calendar, right, that pops off everybody's birthday. You didn't really remember it, the calendar did, right? Now the person's going to think that you're so wonderful because you remembered their birthday. Without that calendar, you never would have remembered. One thing equals nothing else. I happen to remember birthdays because I'm an astrologer and because I study astrology. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't remember. The funny thing is that if I have a hard time, if I don't like somebody, I have a hard time remembering their birthday. Yeah, most people their birthdays are in my head. Even kids I went to elementary school with, I can tell you their birthdays because of my astrology thing. It has nothing to do, I don't give a shit about these people. I just remember their birthday because I studied astrology and I found it fascinating. One thing doesn't equal anything else. So until you stop assigning meaning to these things and looking for the logic in it when there is no logic, you're going to be making yourself crazy and putting up walls, pushing people away. And I know that it really sounds like it's hocus pocus magic, but it's not. It's not. How many times, look, I say it all the time. Oh, I was just thinking about you, and you run into the person. Or you're talking to somebody, hey, I was thinking that maybe we should go to the beach. Oh my God, I was just thinking that. Because there is a universal consciousness, right? Where our thoughts go out into the universe and other people pick up on them. And we tend to gravitate towards people that are a lot like us. And we tend to feel comfortable in those kind of situations, people that are like us. I remember we were talking about, we were talking about something that brought up this, maybe that I hate political correctness. I think that it's the biggest bullshit ever, and I think that it's on top of everything else fucking insulting. But, well, what we were saying was, I was telling my brother this story. When I was in nursery school, I had a friend who lived around the corner from me. Her name was Patricia, and her and I went to nursery school the first year together, and the second year we didn't because her mom went back to work full time, so she had to go all day, and I was still going, I don't know, 2 or 3 days a week or whatever it was. I made friends with a girl in my nursery school who was Chinese. Her parents came here from China, and like I was saying to my brother, I'm like, I didn't know she was Chinese. I didn't know that she was, I wasn't looking at her like that. What attracted me to her was that she was quiet and she was like me. So I felt comfortable with her, where some of the louder kids that were like in your face, they made me nervous and anxious. I felt comfortable with her because she was quiet and she was calm and pleasant like me. Like attracts like. I felt very comforted knowing that she wasn't going to be demanding and pushy and that kind of stuff, and we were friends. And I don't know why why that situation, why I was talking to him about it, but the reason why I'm telling you that is because it is like that attracts like. I felt a level of comfort with this girl, which is why if you look around, like there are some people that really intimidate me, and I'm intimidated by them. So it's not that I don't like them, but I feel intimidation, so I tend to back away from them. So imagine that you're putting out these thoughts into your mind, from your mind out into the universe. Do you want to intimidate people, or do you want to control people, or do you want somebody to come to you because they want to be with you? And even if you know people, right? Like I talk about this guy too. I have a friend, he's a Sagittarius, and he can be so annoying. He's the kind of person that I could text him right now and be like, I need you, I'm stuck somewhere. And he would text back, oh, I'll be right there, and he would never show up. That's just him. He does that. On the other hand, he can text me and be like, I need you to come here right now, and I'll be like, I'm working. He'll be like, call in sick. Tell him that you don't feel well, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not doing that. But that's his answer, and he thinks I should do it for him. But he would leave me stranded in the Mojave Desert and not think twice. Yeah, I'll be right there. It's just who he is. You know he's like that, right? So I don't get offended. I know he's like that. I know that if I'm in need of something, I am not going to call him because he's going to tell me he's going to come, but he ain't coming. That's him, okay? Now that's also my story about him. So I believe that about him, and until I change that belief, he will always reflect that. When I change the belief, which I haven't even tried to work on it yet, I just I'm like, yeah, whatever. But when you put things into perspective, right, it makes more sense. It's like you're not going to call your most irresponsible, unreliable friend to come and pick you up at the airport, or to go pick up your 87-year-old grandmother that's coming in from wherever. Like, you're not going to send your most unreliable friend there because it's too important to you. Like, you have to know what you're dealing with. If you know that the person you're involved with is not a big texter, then it's not a big deal if you don't hear from them. I mean, what I think becomes a big deal is when people start lying, or people start not showing up, when people start behaving peculiar or out of character. Like for me, if I knew you weren't a texter and you were never a texter, and then all of a sudden you started texting a lot, I would be nervous about that. I'd be like, well, this is out of character. When you know somebody's behavior and that starts to change, that puts up red flags for me, no matter what the behavior is. So think of that. I always hope that I explain these things and then I wind up at 40 minutes, and I hope that I haven't, talked and not made any sense. So let me know what you guys think, okay? So just to quickly recap, if you're looking for somebody to come back, you focus on them, you put it out into the universe, and then you get busy doing something else. You want to text somebody and this person's a pain in the ass about getting back to you, you send them a text message only when you're confident. You don't reach out to this person if you think that there is a chance that they're not going to answer you. If you're feeling sad, disappointed, down, wait until that passes and then you can reach out to the person. If you're in a situation where you're hoping that somebody is going to return and you're not sure if you should date other people, the suggestion from me would be, if you believe that dating other people is going to keep you from your desire, then don't do it. If you're open to meeting other people and maybe moving on with your life, then you should do it. If you think that once you start dating someone else, this other person is going to come back and now you're going to be in the situation where it's your choice, I always would rather see it be your choice than somebody else's choice. My suggestion would be not to sit around and wait, but to keep things moving and keep the energy flowing. Even if you're just talking to people or going to parties or going out, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be like in a relationship with someone, but just hanging out and doing things like that can be helpful, just to keep the energy moving. Choosing to sit at home and wait for the phone to ring is never helpful in any situation. Never. It's never helpful. I remember years ago when I was dating this guy off and on for like 10 years. And me and my one friend were out in Vegas at the Golden Nugget, which is like downtown Las Vegas. And it's like where it's just so funny down there. It's like, I don't know, like there's somebody outside dressed like Frank Sinatra singing. You got Elvis all over the place. It's like classic when you think like Las Vegas. So we were down there and I was preoccupied because I was in Las Vegas, and I don't know, we were at like the Golden Nugget, or we were at I was with one of my friends, right? And we were at like the Golden Nugget is down there. And then there was also another casino called the Four Queens. And this is like downtown Vegas, which is different from like where the Strip is. So my friend said to me, oh my God, look at the waitresses here. They just, anybody could be a waitress. It wasn't like when you went to like the strip where all of those waitresses were probably maybe dancers too. Like they were very attractive. Downtown, they weren't like that. So my friend says to me, "Hey, let's move out here and I'll work here at this place. I think they'll hire me. I see that waitress over there has a mustache." I was crying. Like I was hysterical. Well, I'm laughing. We're at the Four Queens and my phone rings, and who is it? This idiot. But I was preoccupied. I was doing something else. If I had been sitting in the hotel waiting for him to call, he never would have called. It just doesn't work like that. Nobody wants to feel like they are responsible for your happiness, or that they have to do what you want when you want them to do it. It just doesn't work like that. All right, let me know what you think.